Aman Khan!
Shar!
Aman Khan! I'm here to finish this!
So you really have betrayed us, Shar.
Not so. I've never betrayed anyone in my entire life. Ever!
Yo. Yes, I know I'm bald. Oh, it has come to that point of the year, guys, where the beard gets trimmed down, the hair, this, you know, and it is way too fucking warm. But hopefully everyone's having a good Thursday. Thursday, yes. And today we are painting a model kit. And where did I put the top half of him? But God, where did I put the top half of him? Don't tell me I lost the top half of a mech. Oh no. Oh God. It's somewhere around here. Anyway, but today we are going to be working on the Stark Jegan, which is a version of the Jegan that first appeared in Gundam Unicorn. A lot of people really like it, so I'm really interested in getting to paint it. This is really bothering me. Where did I put it? Just searching my desk. There's the manual. He's somewhere around here. But yes. We haven't streamed in a while. This is gonna be interesting. Now, before we get into things, I want to answer a couple questions. We had a super chat before the stream even started from Steve Choza. He said, 2 things about the lore from the 1 Year War that always bugged me. They're in my following chats. Says, first, if Zeon wanted to do another Operation British, why did they not use another Side 2 colony? Why did they take one from Loom? And in God's name, why did they let Revel escape? They could have gotten any of their intended goals from that stunt in terms of Federation surrender. They didn't. To answer the second one, he was actually rescued by Zeon, basically people who turned on Zeon and Federation spies that were in Zeon that were working with them. As for the first question, you never want to strike the same location twice, because the Federation is just going to reinforce it. So it didn't make sense to continue to try to hammer that one place. You know, it's best to... They were still dealing with a substantially smaller military than what the Federation had, so you continue to attack the same point. They're going to inevitably reinforce with enough forces to drop you, even if you have mobile suits. So... But yeah, to answer one thing, if you're wondering why there is a super chat goal, the reason for that is because I usually don't like doing them, but the reason it's there is because of the fact that I got hacked earlier in the month. And I basically went 2 days with 0 income coming in because nobody could watch any of my videos. It is very confusing. Where did I put it? I don't know how the whole torso of a mobile suit just disappears into the fucking void. Over here? No. Here. No. What the fuck? Where'd we go? I put him in the Nightingale box. No, he's not in here either. This is very disconcerting. Like, how do you lose half of a mobile suit? Did he fall down somewhere? Oh, he's right here. He did fall down somewhere. Okay. As I was saying, this is what's done on him so far. Steve Chosa says, some lore suggests the zombies knew about the rescue. I don't remember if that's actually true or not. You know, I only go with what's definitive, what we actually know. But here's all that I've gotten done. This is basically being repainted in the style of the Jegan Heavy type. Because I like those colors quite a bit. I don't like the greens of your standard Jesta. So, that is what we will be doing. Some lore... Okay. Hey, Joe Palmer, thank you for $2. He says, hey, Micah, ever gonna build a Metal Gear 1/100? At some point, I would like to. I know that Kudabukiya makes a 1/100 scale of Rex and Ray. I would love to do those. Right now, though, I have a substantial backlog. My office is a little messy right now. I have a tendency to rip my shirt off. I shit you not, I've got a ton of shirts in here. When I am working and it gets too warm in here. So, I have been working on a lot of stuff, and we're going to show that in a minute before we get to painting. But what I have behind me, I have a ridiculous backlog, guys. You can see a couple of the boxes. I have my Act Guy here. I have the Riesel Defensor type, the General Revel version. I have the Master Grade Rick Diaz, which I lost some parts on, so once I find those, I gotta finish that. I have the Master Grade Heavy Arms Custom and the Master Grade Sandrock Kai, which that will complete my wing collection. I still have the Banshee Norn from years ago that I have not built yet, and then I've also got my Zagok. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and I've also got the F91 back there too. 7. I have 7 kits to do. Steve, there's another couple bucks. Says you said you're from the Midwest, Illinois specifically. I live in Illinois. Used to live in the Chicago area. That's where I'm originally from. But now I live down in the Bloomington Normal area. Matt Bond says, membership goes burr. Says, Dan, this month has been every Gundam fan starts building Gunpla. Notice the Child of Mecha being more active as of late. Yes, I am indeed. It has been it's been an interesting time for me lately. I've had a lot of cool stuff going on behind the scenes that I wanted to show you guys. So, I have a story to tell you. So it's story time with Uncle Micah before we get into painting today. And that'll give me a second to kind of get prepped for everything. Because I actually have, believe it or not, some of you remember when I used to do these painting streams ages ago, my hands would be covered in paint after I'm done. No more. Nitrile gloves. Make me look like a tattoo artist. But, I would absolutely love to do multiple streams per week. It's just about getting myself mentally hyped up to, to be on camera. Not to mention it takes 3 hours out of my day when I've also got stuff to edit. So, have you had a chance to go to the new Gundam store in Chicago? Not yet. I've been wanting to take a few days to go to Chicago. I just haven't had the money. And I'll show you guys why. I have something that I would like you guys to see, because here in a couple months, we're going to finally fulfill Inglewood Book 2. So I finally am at a position where I can confidently do another crowdfund of a comic book. And you can already follow the page so you know when it launches. And it's the one book I've been wanting to do for years. Project Lazarus. My legs literally just started shaking just thinking about this. I'm going to go ahead and link you guys to this. Please go follow the campaign. But we're going to have a look at what I got so far. I'm actually going to pin this as the pin message. Project Lazarus Book 1. This is a book that I have been trying to get off the ground since before COVID hit. I've already written a prequel novella to this that you can actually find online. But yeah, this one means a lot to me, because this is effectively the superhero story I've always wanted to write. The initial idea for this story, I created it over almost like a decade and a half ago, is when I wrote like the very first rough draft of it, when it was going to be a novel. And then I kind of just realized that it really wouldn't make a good novel. Jeremiah Hembry says, dude, you missed my member chat. Jeremiah, the chat is moving pretty quick. Give me a little bit of grace, man. Come on. It's only just now starting to slow down. And not to mention, I'm in the middle of a thing, man. I'll get back to it. Thank you for the $2, but let's take the energy down a little bit. I'm trying to talk about cool stuff. Be happy. So, to give you an idea of what's going on here, it says here at the top, may God bless and America pray for those who battle the darkness. The United States has learned that a demonic invasion is all but inevitable. So the CIA's Supernatural Affairs Group fields their own enhanced Black Ops team to protect America. That is the basic long and short of it. You can see the... I don't know if I can make this bigger. This is the work in progress of the first cover, which is the wraparound. Take a wild guess what this is paying homage to. But it also features some of the monsters that you're actually going to see within the series as a whole. But features all three of our heroes, Alpha, Sigma, and Omega, fighting a myriad of demons, including one who, if you've read the prequel novella, you're going to know who this is. And one feature that I absolutely love, that, because the guy who's doing this cover is the concept artist for the book named Nin. Notice how he's got one, all of his eyes are looking forward, except one is looking at you. I love that little detail. But these are all monsters that feature in will feature in the book at one point or another. And one back here, this one right here, though you can barely make it out, is actually one of the flying demons from Three Knights. So that's cover number 1. Cover number 2, this is done by my interior artist, Thomas Tikas. This is just a team-looking cool spread, basically. But it says here, in the year 2008, a young man named Malachi Connors and his girlfriend were involved in an auto accident. While the girl died from the impact, Connors managed to survive the impact. Even more miraculously, he did not have a single mark on him aside from a brain injury that put him into a coma. 4 years later, Malachi finds himself completely transformed, now a superhuman. Unfortunately for him, he's been press-ganged into a war against the armies of hell. The CIA's Paranormal Affairs Division has a superweapons program that is called Project Lazarus. I am not Ethan Van Sciver. I do know him, though. Malachi, now codename Alpha, is their biggest asset. He is joined by the cybernetic Marine Corps veteran Lieutenant Edward Schneider, known as codename Sigma, and the psychic former Navy corpsman Elliot Williams, codename Omega, to become the spearhead of the United States. This Black Ops division of the CIA is now all that stands between humanity and Armageddon. YouTube personality, that's me, and comic writer Micah Curtis, takes the helm, joined by interior artist Thomas Tikas and colorist Christian Savar, to bring an unrelenting story about a young man who wakes up in what seems like a never-ending nightmare. The worst news, his only option is to fight in a war that he didn't ask to be a part of. If you enjoy stories such as Stormwatch, X-Men, Excalibur, The Authority, Devilman, Berserk, or Invincible, you will enjoy Project Lazarus. So, we are safe. The crown cannot come after us for jokes and shit. I'm actually going to talk about that here in a bit, Brown. But yes, my criminal conspiracy that I speak about openly, or something. I don't fucking know at this point. It's kind of hard to keep track of. But you can follow the campaign. Hit the Indiegogo link that is in the pinned chat. If you follow it, there will be a print that is going to be given exclusively to people who back the book once it does come out. So, that is what I have been so busy with lately, is just getting that book rolling. The first 5 pages are being worked on right now. Then the covers need to be colored. And then after that's done, we'll be ready to launch it. Hopefully sometime in August. Because we're probably going to be launching Cyberpop in, I want to say probably next month, if not by the end of this month. I wanted to launch it a bit sooner, but to be honest with you, we have run into just people having life stuff happen. So they haven't been able to get done as fast. You know, watching Cyber Frog? No, I'm not. But, anyway. Jeremiah had asked a question before the stream, and I apologize for missing this. Do you think they bring back the Blood Angels and the Iron Hands Primarchs back to life? Do you think Gilliman will make some giant-ass swords, the Emperor, that they hit against the Warp? No and no. I don't think either of that is going to happen. I think they're going to keep the dead Primarchs dead. I can't see them bringing them back. If they did bring back one of them, it would be Sanguinius, because he is so popular. But I would not like that. I think that he, as a character, he served his purpose. He had his time, you know. So, question from someone who is somewhat new to Gundam. Are there any mobile suits that are similar to battle mechs from Battletech? Like slow-moving walkers, basically? I mean, that is a good question. I can't really say. You know? I'm really not sure. I would have to think that, like, because you're thinking of, like, I would think of something that's like a pure weapons platform, right? That it doesn't really have, like, a bunch of, like, beam swords and shit like that. It's just basically just lasers and rockets. Hey, Groundhog, AJ the Groundhog, member for 5 months, says, really enjoy your vids, keep up the great work. I will absolutely do so, sir. Thank you. But yeah, the gun tank is a really good approximation of something like that. But you're not gonna find a lot of mechs that are like BattleTech mechs. The Loto is another one. Basically, anything that's like an offshoot of the gun tank is the closest you're gonna find. But, especially like the gun tank 2. The gun tank 2 that you see in Zeta, would probably be the closest to looking like a Battletech mech. Alright, let's get to the painting. I saw someone just tried to ping me on Discord. Let me see what that's about real quick. It's something in my server. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, you're not going to see my face while I'm doing this. You're just going to see the booth. But to answer the question, what are my problems with Gundam the Origin? I don't like how it deviates so much from the original series. Like, I am of the opinion, and I may be in the minority on this, but I am of the opinion, let me move my microphone here. I'm of the opinion that the original Gundam is as close as you're going to get to the perfect science fiction series on television. And I say that as a fan of Babylon 5, before anybody gets on my ass about it. I also say that as a fan of Deep Space Nine. And no, I don't think Next Generation is better than Deep Space Nine. Not at all. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of like how it plays fast and loose with what is canonical in the 1 Year War and such. I just don't like its depiction of it. I don't like that they kind of turned Char into not quite a sociopath, but he's getting close. My stupid headcanon, and I say stupid headcanon because even I have them, and I'm not a big fan of headcanons. My stupid headcanon says that what actually that is it is basically what they programmed Full Frontal to think Char is. That's my opinions on it. Still holding the Raul Zabi Lois. Yeah, I misremembered that. That was my bad. But yeah, that's my big gripe with it. Now, before they really do the gun cannon dirty too. But yeah, one thing I mentioned in the podcast was that those gun cannon early types, those are not a thing. At least not in the like original Universal Century. They're not a thing at all. And they certainly did not use them to run over civilians in colonies. Like, that's fucking stupid. That never happened. That's another issue with it. Like, I don't like the Federation being fucking Snidely Whiplash villains. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a little too... That comes across like you're trying to be 40k. You know? Like, part of what makes the Federation interesting to me is they're corrupt. And it's that corruption that makes them intriguing. Because corruption causes its own problems. You know? Corruption is one of those things that is sort of... It's one of those things that's going to create very unique issues. Because it isn't so much something that is like what I would call Hitler evil. Or puppy-kickingly evil. I think it's probably a better name for it. But it definitely can open the way for such things to happen if you're not careful. I'm cleaning my airbrush to start. I always try to do this before I get rolling because I know that one of the things that I hate the most about starting a session, and it's happening already, is whenever the works are gunked up. So what we're going to do, is I've already got the airbrush cleaner in here. I'm going to check the needle, and we might just need to clean the needle off real quick. Which is fine, this happens sometimes. Yep, needle needs cleaning. So let me go ahead and put this away. And then for the needle, I'm just gonna grab a paper towel and clean it off. And then once that's done, you're good to go. Have I done the Master Grade Nemo, or Nemo? If I have, how is it? I have done it. I have a pretty extensive, what I would call my Argama shelf, Argama/Rock Island shelf, and it is featured up there. It was a very good build. I really liked it. It's very simple. Like, it's a very similar build to the Sniper 2, the Gym Sniper 2. And the Gym Sniper 2 is also a fantastic kit. So, yeah, if you have not built the Master Grade Nemo yet, I would recommend it. It's very good. It's actually one of, like, my favorite grunt suits to build. Had a little bit of backdraft there. But yes, very, very good kit. Very underrated. I'm of the opinion that half of the reason that it doesn't get, like, whenever people do, like, Top Gun lists, they don't put the Master Grade Nemo on, like, best grunt kits, is just because it's not a Zaku. Or it's not from the 1 Year War. One thing that I hate to say is true is that when it comes right down to it, even though it is easily the best Gundam series, Zeta is the least talked about. It's really weird. Like, people will talk about, like, fucking, like, Wing and everything else all day, but Zeta and Double Zeta do not get much chat about them. Which is unfortunate, because, like I said, they're the best ones. Like, bar none. Alright. We got this. Now, what we're going to do is, I need to just do a little bit of organizing. I want to make sure that I've got the right surfacers here that I need. I have pink surfacer for the reds, or do I? Oh yeah, there's some in here. Couldn't tell. Got pink surfacer. I don't really think I'm going to need black surfacer for this one. There's still a good amount in here. I'm just shaking them to make sure that they're, you know, close to full. So we can set aside the black surfacer. We definitely are going to need whites. And I prefer this surfacer, this white surfacer to... This is Mr. Hobby. I actually had to order this from Japan to get it. I paid double for this. This in the gray. Because you can't get them here in the States right now. For some reason, they're having shipping issues. Which is so fucking stupid. We should not be having shipping issues from Japan. But yes. I have white surfacer and Mr. Surfacer Gray. I don't think I'm going to need this one, but I'm going to keep it here just in case. Because I have here the Splash Paint Surfacer. This is light gray. and there's not a whole lot of it. The thing that I don't like about splash paint surfacers is that they play really weird on this kind of plastic, to where when I had painted some whites, they were coming through, I kid you not, cracked. Like, they looked like there was cracks in the armor. I'm like, what the fuck? So, I probably will not be buying a surfacer from Splash Paints again. I will probably just stick to Mr. Hobby stuff. Which, granted, for their surfacers, Mr. Hobby is the best. It's not even close from all the surfacers I have used. Where's the green Master Grade Zaku's? Yeah, Bonds, you're not wrong, dude. There's been this thing where outside of Japan, you cannot find just a standard Zaku 2. It's all Char's version. That's it. That's all you can find. You can find Char's, or you can find Char's Zagak, or you can find Char's Gelgoog. But you can't find a normal Gelgoog 2.0. You can't find a normal Zagak. I got one, but again, that came from Japan, thanks to JP Fans, who is a sponsor of the channel. Please don't forget to create an account over at jpfans.com, link in the description, or on my channel if you can't find it there, because they're a sponsor. They pay me. Do the math. But I had to get stuff from JP Fans to actually get it. You know? It's very frustrating. Congrats on 50K. Thank you very much, Shagyo. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating, to say the least. Now, to talk about frustrating stuff. Sorry, I gotta do this, I'm sorry. You're gonna get my hairy arm for a second. Okay, so, quick test. Can you guys hear me alright over the fan? Yes, no, maybe so. You can. Okay, that's awesome. It is going to distort my voice a little bit. I do apologize. But it is just part of the process. I'm also going to be putting on my mask. Because I want to be doing this a long time, and I want to have use of my lungs. So if I sound like Bane, I do apologize. But I kind of have to do this. Okay. Also, I am going to say, I look kind of silly. So I will show you how silly I look. 1 second. See? Do you feel in charge? I wondered what would break first. Your spirit or your body? Anyway. Can't tell I'm a fan of the Nolan Batman films, oh no. Though admittedly, the funny thing is, these kinds of respirators, which you could just find, like, you could find these at, like, you know, like Home Depot or whatever. This is what they wore on Babylon 5, just with, they put stuff over the filters to make them look a little bit more sci-fi, but they were just respirators. It's one of those things where you can really tell that show was very low budget. Love it as much as I do. It was more J. Michael Straczynski's writing and the really good acting that drove that show, not so much the effects.
Okay. So, let's go ahead and commence. We're going to start working on the inner frame. By priming that, and then we will do the armoring afterwards. I did not see a mask until I was already a man. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do, we've got air. That's good to go. Feels really good, actually. This is what I'm going to do whenever it gets hot. I'm just going to, like, do this on my skin to cool myself off. I'll be hot everywhere else, but I'll have one really, really cool forehead or some bullshit. I don't know. Anyway. Get a little primer in here. I have to keep looking up at my camera to make sure that I'm actually... Oh, God. This is the thing about nitrile gloves. You can't grip for shit with your fingers. You have to do it with, like, the palm of your hand. And even then, it's like, it's not gonna work. Try this. Put some tape around it. There we go. But anyway, so somebody brought up Ethan Van Sciver earlier. And I could not help but see that my criminal conspiracy worked. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know I'm the Kingpin? Are you guys aware of this? I'm part of a criminal conspiracy to ruin the life of some jackass who lives in Australia. And I'm going to be brought down by the authorities any day now. Any day. I'll get you, dear Gadget. I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too, right? Some of you guys who follow me on X probably know what I'm talking about. For those who do not, one of the weirdest guys I've ever met on the internet, a guy named Liam Gray. And I helped him kind of get his foothold in the indie comic space back right around, like, when COVID happened and stuff. Or really before it, and then right as it started. And I spent way too much fucking time having to tard guard him and to help him kind of get his head straight and to keep him from effectively nuking his own career. It didn't work, by the way. So eventually I just got sick of it. I got sick of him. And where it culminated was he wanted to defraud people by effectively scamming them on GoFundMe. Because he was going to try to get people to pay for this shed that he wanted to build, even though he already said he had the money for it. And instead of the money going towards the shed, the money was going to go towards paying artists on different comic book projects. I will read that super chat in just a moment. Bear with me for just a second. Jeremiah, I swear you have, like, the worst timing with those. He says here, when Gilliman came back and he fought Magnus the Red again, what happened to Magnus? Did he die or go into a different dimension? I don't think he beat him. So, I think it was a very brief confrontation. Magnus is on Prospero. And the last we knew of it, after the devastation of Ball Saga, the head librarian, Mephiston, of the Blood Angels is going after him. So that's where Magnus is. He's just waiting. Nobody knows why Mephiston wants to go to Prospero. It's not like the Blood Angels have a beef with the Thousand Sons that are not like the Space Wolves do. So it's a big mystery. I don't know when we're going to find out. But right now, the Blood Angels are actually on Armageddon. So, who the fuck knows? But anyway, as I was saying, because I'm sorry, I understand some of you guys don't like drama stuff. But some of you do. Some of you want to know what's going on in my life outside of robots. So I don't mind filling you in a little bit. Because if nothing else, it's a funny story. So, some of you guys remember the video I did when Liam and I parted ways with each other. Because the desire to attempt fraud was like the final straw. The only reason I didn't speak out against what he had done earlier than when I parted ways with him, was largely due to the fact that he was going to be having a daughter. And other friends of his were basically begging me, like, look, if you basically expose this mistake he's making, then it's going to ruin his career. And they said, please give us time to convince him not to do it. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be a guy that did that to someone whose wife is pregnant and they're going through, challenging times. And I said to the gentleman I was speaking to, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't want to be that guy. I would much rather just forget him and move on with my life. So I did. And then a year later, I get sent a video because apparently he had a giant spurg out about me saying all these things about how I'm a terrible person. I'm one of the things wrong with independent comic books. And then he capped it off by calling me a white hat bitch. Now, take off my mask for a moment.
I don't know if this is because Liam is Australian, or if he's just retarded. Or a mixture of both. But what ended up happening, or what the phrase calling someone a white hat bitch as a negative. First and foremost, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second, Brown. To put it simply, calling someone a white hat bitch implies that being a white hat is is a problem. And if you don't know what a white hat is, it basically means the good guy. Bigness, you ain't wrong, buddy. He's definitely got some problems. But anyway. So, at that point, I do a video that is still up. One of the few videos from around that time that I keep up. Called The Sad Story of Liam Gray. And the reason that I titled it as such is I had another video up that went up about, I want to say a year prior than that. That was called The Sad Story of Phil. I see a hat man. What's going on, partner? Also, they didn't say anything about you. I didn't even know you're going to be here. I'd offer to call you in, but I'd have to, if you want me to call you in via Discord, I'll throw in my Bluetooth, and you can give your perspective on what happened, too, if you want. And partner, if you can't tell by the pinned tweet, the Lazarus campaign, the preview for it is now up. I actually got that done. Now it's just about getting the rest of it done. But anyway, so what ends up happening is I release that video, and people are like, just taking a law break. Ugh, can't blame you. I've actually got to start working on stuff again the instant that I finish the stream up. I was wanting to record some podcast stuff tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to get the chance. Anyway, so what happens next is people get very pissed off at me. I get a couple of messages from people asking why I did what I did. And I just basically said, look, I shouldn't have to tolerate being slandered by this asshole. So I said what I said, and I'm going to leave it at that. I don't need to say any more. And I did. And then the funny thing that would happen, and Hatman could attest to this, if Lidl was here, she'd do the same. About every 3 months, you know what? I'm talking with my hands right now, and you can't see it. About every 3 months, I'll do it over here. About every 3 months, Liam, I have to say Liam because there's a difference. Liam would just tart out about me. Or just tart out about me and my friends in general. For example, one thing that he did, the first tart out that he had was I had made a video because a fellow comic book creator named Doug Ernst was doing some really weird gay-oppy shit. And I did a video on it. I'm like, hey, don't do this. This is stupid. I understand it's not easy to take criticism sometimes, but this is really gay, dude. Just don't. And Ernst, as long as I have known him, and I don't really know him that well, I've only had like a couple conversations with him, he does not take criticism very well. A lot of people I've noticed, though, in the realm of comic books definitely don't. So, but I was very tame with it. I'm like, just don't do shit like this. But one of the things that I mentioned in it was that I had said that Liam had used me as a cudgel against other people. The basic idea was that Liam knew that if I saw that he got upset, I would get pissed off, and I would go and defend him for one reason or another. This is what friends do. You know, it's to be expected. And, but I kind of realized as time was going on that he counted on that. He knew that if I saw him upset, I would get good and pissed off, and then I would go and stick up for him. So that was just the one little reference that I made about him. Just an offhand comment. He tards the hell out. But the funny part about it was he lets slip I shit you not, that he hate watches me while in bed with his wife. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so goddamn funny. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really? Like, come on, dude. Like, what? With your wife? Like, I've spoken with his wife before, Shanna. I have nothing negative to say about her whatsoever. It's like, dude, don't involve your fucking petty bullshit with her. Let her have her life and take care of your kid and all the stuff that moms are supposed to do, you know? You don't need to be fucking doing that shit. But that was really funny. After that, what happened was, knocked over my airbrush. After that, we would expect like one little thing every few months, right? And basically what would happen was it would just be something stupid. Like one of them was he tried to do a chargeback on Lidl for a gift that he gave her, because she was the original colorist on Wonder Island, which is this, as he would say, this whimsical, magical book I'm doing. Which, by the way, he started the crowdfund for that like over half a decade ago. Still hasn't finished it because he says he keeps rewriting it, which is fucking dumb. Just put it out there, dude. All right, mask is going back on.
So what happens next is the big one was he starts to threaten to sue me. Now, at the time, I did not know how much money Liam really had. You know, I didn't ask. He always throws a story around that he is independently wealthy. That basically how it works was he was a roadie for some punk bands. I think he said like one of them was MXPX. Another one was The Offspring, if I remember right. I could be remembering wrong. It's hard to tell. The stories tend to change quite a bit with him. But, MXPX is like the static one. That's the one I always hear. But, regardless, he's threatening to sue me. And to me, I'm like, okay, we're kind of getting to a point of ridiculousness. Because in the email that he showed, and I've shown it on stream before, I don't want to dig it up again. If I need to dig it up, I will, but I don't really feel like it. He accuses me of a bunch of shit that I wasn't even doing. And Brown is in the chat, like he can attest to it. I wasn't even close to any of it. I was just working on my own stuff. So, basically, what ends up happening is I send a DM to Ethan Van Sciver. You know, I've known Ethan for years. I saw he was streaming. I think Liam had come up. And I I'm like, hey, something bonkers happened with me and Liam just today. Do you want to see it? So I sent him the email. I sent him a screenshot of it. And he just advised me, he's like, look, he's probably not going to sue you. Don't worry about it. Just tell him that any unwanted communication is not, can be stated in the public. You don't owe him privacy just because he labels an email private. That's not how that works. Which is true. So, it ends up being a whole thing where Liam accuses me of everything basically except for like downing the 2 towers. Says that I'm involved in a criminal conspiracy. So on and so forth. It's going to start sounding familiar. And he has me and Liam both on his channel. And he throws around a lot of claims. I'm trying to nail him down on like just one of them, just to try to get him to prove one of them. Yeah, Brown in the chat says, Liam was super confident you were the mastermind of all of his problems. Brown, I'm pretty sure he still thinks I am. Which I'll get to that in a second too. But, what ends up happening is, the one thing he gets is he's throwing around a claim that I don't pay my artists. Now, not a thing of you don't pay your artists enough or you were late on a payment. You don't pay your artists, period. And he produces an email between him and one of my artists where the artist says that I'm late. And that because I'm late, he's thinking of not working with me. Which, to be fair to the artist, is my friend Preston Acevedo, I can't blame him. I shouldn't have been late on that payment. And I apologized to him profusely when I got it to him. Because I don't like to fuck around with how people make their livings. And like I said, Preston's a friend of mine. I don't want to do something that's going to make my friend's life worse, for certain. My name is not Liam Gray. I don't do those sorts of things. So, you couldn't see Liam was crazy earlier? I knew he was crazy thickness, but I didn't think that he was, the kind, like, there's different types of crazy. I will say right now, I am crazy. I'm a little nuts. But I like to think of the kind of crazy I am, I call it artistic insanity. Where I'm kind of a goof because I kind of have an artistic mindset. You know, I like to create things. I have a wild imagination. And it has taken me a long time to rein that in. And I will also freely admit that I do deal with clinical depression and some anxiety issues, but I take meds for it, you know? Nothing too crazy, just stuff to kind of take the blood pressure edge off of it and just kind of keep my heart and my brain from going bonkers, you know? So, yeah, Hatman says in the chat, we've been late before for various reasons, PayPal, but we always made good and let them know what was up. Exactly. Like, we always keep in very good communication with any artist that we're working with and let them know, hey, this is when things are going to be ready to go, yada, yada, yada. We don't like keeping people in the dark. And then if we have to put pencils down, we have to put pencils down. It sucks, but it's life, you know?
So anyway, but the funny thing about it is that he says all of this, right? And he thinks he's got me on something, and I go, yeah, I was late on that payment. And you could tell, like, he was mystified by the statement, because he goes quiet. And I'm like, yeah, I was late. He's paid now, though. You want to know how you know? Because the campaign for the fucking book is up, you idiot. So, he had egg on his face. And then, but at this point, kind of what's going on in the stream is that I think Ethan has noticed that the chat isn't a fan of either of us at that point. So he's just kind of playing along with the audience, you know? Kind of fucking with me for a little bit, then he'll fuck with Liam for a little bit, then he'll fuck with me for a little bit, then he'll fuck with Liam for a little bit. You know, it's part of the show. It's not that big of a deal. I don't hold it against him. To be honest, if I was in the same situation, I might have done the same thing. But, excuse me. What really kills it is Anna, that Star Wars girl, comes in. And she fucking eviscerates him. Like, and by the way, I don't know Anna from anybody, mind you. But, Micah probably sent drones to Liam's house, who knows. I am the funder of the drone army. But, but Anna comes out of, like, nowhere. And I'm like, she doesn't know me from anybody, and she takes my side. And starts drilling into Liam. She is just sick of his shit. And I'm just sitting there like, oh fuck. And she just buries the fucker. Because all the stuff that he was being accused of starts being the things that he starts getting held account to. One of them was being a bit of a creep to a girl that he was working with, or he had working for him, named Nerd Wonder, who is an absolute sweetheart, by the way. And it ends with him rage quitting the stream because EVS brings John De La Rose in, and Liam hates John with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. So then the next day, EVS has Nerd Wonder on his show. You know? And they show the DMs of Liam being a sex pest. At that point, he threatens to kill himself. And at that point, I backed off. Now, this was back in 2022. I leave the guy alone. I'm not doing the thing again. I leave the guy alone for 4 years. The only time I mention anything about him, I put one post on Kiwi Farms, because I do have an account over there. By the way, I don't really get involved in, like, the goings-on. Like, I don't try to mess with people. I'm very much old school internet. I don't believe in tipping the cow. But, I put one post on there about where I saw Liam going, because I had noticed that EVS had brought Liam onto his channel again, brought him back into CG, and what ends up happening next is he gets a book of his called Dino King funded to the tune of, I want to say, about $35,000. And that's on top of a $9,000 that he had made with the first run of the book. So that's a pretty good haul, you know? Like, credit to Liam, I don't have a book that I have been a part of that has made that much money. Not yet, anyway. We'll see what happens in the future. But, he manages to do that with Ethan's help. But Liam continues to tard out as the years go on. And I make a prediction. And I said, basically, I'm like, at some point, Ethan is going to see what I saw. and he is going to end up tossing Liam to the curb, and he'll be completely right for doing it. I said something to that degree. But I knew how it was going to go. And very recently, it finally happened. Because EVS did the one thing that Liam, for some reason, considers a betrayal. You ask him to prove something he said. I shit you not, Liam is in Ethan's chat claiming that people are threatening to kill his Liam's daughter. And, like, what about the threats that my daughter's getting? Ethan goes, produce those, Liam. And instead of producing those, which, by the way, there is a statement from an Aussie guy that I've spoken with before named Risey Lee, that if you look at something he said in a certain way, you could maybe take it as a threat on his daughter, but I took it more as a threat on Liam personally. Like he was going to kill Liam. But you could see it either way. But all Liam had to do was take that clip and just show it and say, Risey said it, he said it on this date, you know, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And that's all you had to do. That was too much for him. Fires up his own live stream, starts saying fuck Ethan and all this other shit, complaining about it, saying all these terrible things are happening to him, with no verifiable evidence that it's happening. And at that point, Ethan just tells him, like, look, you're letting the internet destroy you, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. You are the creator of your own problems. We're done. You and I are done. Tasteful Thickness says it here in the chat, and I completely agree with him. Says, when you get mad that someone asks for proof, it's a pretty solid tell. Exactly. The simple fact is that it's not really that hard to produce receipts, as long as you're willing to keep the evidence somewhere, you know, that's easily accessible. Now, one thing I will say that I completely agree with is the idea that it is so fucking insane that if you're going to be a content creator on the goddamn internet, you have to keep receipts of so many conversations that you have, and you can't trust fucking anybody. It sucks. I will freely admit to you right now, on the internet, like people that I know from the world of the internet, there are two people that I trust. That I trust completely. Like, I have no doubt they would never knife me in the back. Hatman and Lidl. That's it. I trust those two. You know, and this isn't anything against anybody else I know, because there's a lot of people that are in this community that I like quite a bit, that I've gotten to know over the years, that are great people, such as Angry Green Boss, Brother Mouse. Brother Mouse and I have become pretty good friends. Servant of God, Loco. You guys have seen Loco around. You've seen me play games with him. He's hilarious. I love that guy. But Loco, RPX, SGD, which those are two different people. Rocker Rocket I like quite a bit. 420 Gunny I like quite a bit. Leo's in the chat. I like Leo quite a bit. You know, like there's a lot of people that I like that are in this community that I've met on the internet that are really cool. There's other personalities that I've met online that are also really cool people that I really like. Obviously, I'm still friendly with EVS. Almighty Lolly, I'm obviously very friendly with. We're in business together. Other comic pros that I've met, I'm still friendly with. John Malin is another one. Leo. Malin's another one that I've had some really fun streams with. Cecil is another one. I haven't talked to Cecil in a while. But he's a great guy if he ever, you know, I hopefully our paths will cross again. We'll get to chat a bit. But yes, I like Cecil quite a bit. He's a lot of fun. Trying to think. I've had a couple conversations with Chuck Dixon that were really cool. I don't really know any other personalities that I really liked that much. Actually, that's not completely true. You know, Aiden Paladin and I were pretty cool for a while. I haven't talked to her in a very long time, though, so I have no idea where that's at. And, I've seen her say some, like, troubling shit about Jewish people. And given that I am of the tribe, like, seeing that, I'm like, oh. Oh. Well, fuck. That's not cool. That's sad to see. But regardless, but I've met a lot of cool people. But, you know, like, yeah, it's really weird that you can't just trust people. It sucks. It absolutely sucks that there's so many people that are out there that would be willing to take advantage of you given the opportunity. It is insane. Being on the internet is fucking bonkers. You legitimately see the worst of people all the time. But it's part of your existence. You know? Jews for refugees is something you did? I did? I don't remember that. What refugees? What are we talking about? I don't remember. I don't remember that at all. Jews for refugees. No, some thickness. I'm serious. Like, when did I do that? I don't. I genuinely do not remember. Like, which refugees are we talking about? Because I'm trying to think. Like, the reason I'm going quiet is I'm trying to access it. Because if I said it, then I said it, but I don't remember. So I'm just asking you to refresh my memory, dude. Calm down. Like, what refugees? Like, was this like? I'm trying to think if there's. What refugee groups? So I didn't say it and you're just fucking around. Look, dude, I'm gonna give you a minute. Just say which group. And then I'm just not gonna entertain it, or we're just not gonna entertain anything you say for the rest of the day, dude. You're not gonna give me anything? I'm literally asking you which group. All you have to say is which group. Why is that hard? Which group of refugees are you talking about? Because then I'll know what then I'll know what you're referencing. No point clamming up, dude. I mean, earlier, didn't you say in here that asking for receipts and they say, was very telling? I'm not even asking for receipts. I'm just saying, which group are we talking about? Because I genuinely do not remember. I'll give you 30 more seconds. Ten seconds. Wow, dude. Wow! That was... That's bitch made. That is absolutely bitch made. Holy shit, dude. All you had to do, kid, was just say what group. It might have jogged my memory. Now you get a day vacation. What a bitch. I was literally just sitting here like, that dude's Liam tier. Because people saw it. He said in here, when you ask for receipts and you tart out, it's very telling, and then you do it. Holy crap, man. Dude, that's... And by the way, if he had just, like, told me the refugee group, I probably would have remembered. But I don't recall... Because, like, I'm trying to think here. Like, there's the refugees from the Middle East during, like, the wars that have happened over the last 10 years. I don't recall ever, like, supporting any of those groups. And I don't recall any from South America or anything like that. So I got no clue, like, what he's talking about. And had he just said this group or that group, at least we would have had a frame of reference. But he just bitched out. Guys, let me say this right now. I'm going to turn on my camera real quick. I'm going to say this right now to all of you. To any of you that are in the chat. If you have a disagreement with me on something, that's perfectly fine. And I do not hold it against you. Disagreements happen. We're all adults here. My problem will always come from people who do shit like that, whether it's Liam or it's other people. If you're not willing to produce the receipts so that there's some sort of frame of reference of what we're talking about, or where I might have even screwed up in the past and said something then that I don't agree with now, if you're not willing to just give me that frame and you're just going to play coy about it, you're being a pussy. And there's no reason to be a pussy about it. It's literally just talking with a dude who does videos about robots. Why would I be bothered about being wrong about something or having a disagreement with you online? It's just the fucking internet, dude. We're grown-ass men and grown-ass women here. If you can't back up your shit, don't fucking bring it up to start. Complete and total, like, do not do that bitch made shit with me. I will give you a day's vacation. Just do not be a pussy. Dude, that's all you have to not do. And it's not hard to not be a pussy. Okay, Matthew asked the question, says, do you think in the future you'll ever do Rate the Mecha on G Gundam? Probably. Probably something. I have a couple of video ideas I want to do this month. If I can't get one of them done, I will probably do exactly that. But anyway, to polish up what I was saying about Liam, the funniest part about it to me is just the simple fact that I was perfectly fine in leaving him alone. I offered an olive branch to him to just say, look, why don't we chat for 5 minutes? If you just say, please don't bring me up, my request to you will be, You do the same. We just leave each other alone. I would have been cool with that. It's like, dude, yeah, absolutely. I just don't think that I deserve to be slandered. You obviously think you don't deserve to be slandered. Well, I will give you that professional courtesy if you're willing to give it back to me. It's that simple. That's all I wanted. And he instead wanted to pick fights. And he said in a recent stream he did that he just wants to pick fights. But yet he's too scared to have a conversation. So, long story short, Liam is a bitch. Him and that guy I just had to time out for the day. Total bitches. Absolute pussies. Weak men. I'll never get it. It's just a conversation. What the fuck is there to be so scared about? I don't even want to have a long conversation. Just, hey, let's see how, let's just chat for a second. It's alright. No big deal. Okay. Now, let's pick up where we left off. How long have we been going? Hour and a half? We got another hour and a half until we close. If you guys want to help with the super chat goal, it is up at the top. Anything that's $5 or more attributes to it. Though you guys have been pretty liberal with super chats anyway, so I'm very grateful. I should have said that at $2 or higher. That's my bad. Can I? Well, I can't restart it, but you guys have already been like awesome today. Like a lot of you have renewed memberships and shit. Like I appreciate you. I'm just trying to recoup what we lost for the first few days of the month. That's it. And if you guys would be willing to throw in money via super chat, I would be very much appreciative of such. And we'll go from there. So, Leo asked, my thoughts on Pragmata inspiring gamers to be parents. It's kind of having the same effect that, what was that one anime? Spy Family has had on people. Made people think about wanting to be parents. I think it's a good thing. Look, I have seen way too many people be all down in the dumps about relationships because either they've been in one bad one or they have seen a few women who are not very nice, to put it mildly, on the internet make them think that women in general act a certain way. I will tell you this. By and large, and I'm using that term for a very good reason, by and large, you're not going to see most women act as mean as the stereotypical red-headed protester. Are there some things that some women have a tendency to do? Yes. Are there some things that men have a tendency to do? Yes, there are inherent differences between us both as genders. However, when both of us are on the same page, wonderful things can happen. One of those is a loving family. And a loving family can take lives that otherwise would have been terrible and turn them into beautiful things. So I try to encourage people to find love, go to church. If you're a religious person like I am, that's the best place to do it. Go to church, meet people. Maybe, just maybe, you'll find that one special lady. And I pray that each and every one of you in here who has not met that special lady yet, I pray that you do. Me personally, I have not. And that's a bummer that I haven't. But at the same time, I try not to let myself be discouraged. So, seeing something like that inspire people to potentially find a lovely lady
in their life. Or if you're one of the female viewers that are out there, a lovely husband, or a handsome husband, or both. You can be lovely and handsome, I guess. That to me is pretty dope. I have not played Pragmata myself. It doesn't look like something I would normally play. But for those of you who have enjoyed it, that's awesome. I'm happy I am happy you enjoyed it. And I hope you continue to. Surfacer time. Ah. What? The underside. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. One 100 Gray's Iron Thoughts. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Has that been announced, or is already just wondering if I would like it? If it is a thing, that's pretty cool. It's about fucking time that IBO got more suits. If it is not a thing, maybe it should be. Because IBO needs more fucking master grades, god damn it. Like, why is the ball not a master grade? You know? Or the bail, rather. My bail. Why is my bail not a master grade, huh? What the fuck? It's little things like that just make me wonder sometimes. Ah. It is being released. That's cool. Because the Gray's Ein is the one that's basically a dreadnought, right? I know I tend to use 40k terms a lot, but you know what I mean, damn it. It is coming out, my opinion's on it. Like I said, IBO needs more master grades. I think it's really weird that it was as popular as it was, and it has so little Gunpla representation. It is one of the mysteries of the worlds of Gunpla that I have never understood. Like, for the longest time, the only master grade for Iron-Blooded Orphans was fucking well, that's another 10. Give me 1 second. Due to your content, appreciate your style, how you thoroughly express your opinion, the SU generation clips you incorporate expose me to games just imported Genesis and Crossways. Very nice. Crossways is a lot of fun. Genesis is okay. The one thing with Crossways is that they do a really good job of animating all the attacks. It makes the game feel just that much more dynamic, you know? But yes, thank you for the $10. It's very much appreciated. What are we building? The Master Grade Stark Jegan.
With a special paint job. We are painting it in the colors of the Jegan Heavy type. Because I prefer that paint's color to the green and gray kind of drab look that the Stark Jegan has. It's a badass mobile suit, to be sure, but I really do not like the color palette of the Jegan line. I much prefer, like, I think the Gym 2 was the best one. And, of course, like, the original Gym. The whites and the reds just work really well together. Ugh. Gosh. But yes, thank you once again for the $10. That is very much appreciated. But yeah, that tale that I mentioned about that one spurt has been the probably the most insanity that has happened. Really worth mentioning. Like, there's personal stuff, but I do not tell the internet about personal stuff. I'm smart enough not to do that. The internet does not need to know. You guys are here for nerd stuff. I'm here for nerd stuff. So nerd stuff will be given. Wish the Gym 3 had a master grade. You and me both, dude. That would be so fun to kit bash. Like, other stuff with. Did you already do your review on Replaced? I never did a review of it, no. I did finish it. It's really good, but I never did a review. I might do a stream where I talk about it. One thing I'm actually going to do, you know what I ought to do? It was so good I gifted it to Almighty Lolly. I might tell him that when we launch Cyberpunk Book 2, since it's a cyberpunk book, and that's a cyberpunk game, we sit down and we play it, and we chat about it while we're pitching the comic. Because I don't really do game reviews. I don't think they're going to get many views. I think people are just here for Gundam lore at this point. That's going to be the large bulk of what I do. Unless I want to do something to kind of fuck with people. You're supposed to do weekly streams going to police station. Oh my god. Master grade gun cannon? There is a master grade gun cannon. I have one. It's old though. It's an old model. But it's still good. It's sturdy. It's just it came out around that time of like when the it's like an early 2000s kit. It came out around the time that they were like pumping out master grades constantly. It's not as old as like the GPO2, but it's pretty up there in age. It's like 22, 23 years old. But it's still shockingly sturdy. It's a lot better than a lot of other kits from around that time period. Alright, I'm going to finish doing these armor pieces, and then we're going to take a break. I need to get up and stretch my legs. Am I ever going to make my own mecha or giant robot series? Yes! So the plan, the thing is right now, I have not been wanting to write mecha. I won't go into detail on some stuff that happened, but some stuff that happened behind the scenes that made me not want to keep going on it. Sulla throws in $5, says, I've been told evangelicals support Israel because they want to trigger the apocalypse. Is that true? I thought you were an evangelical. I am an evangelical religiously, and I am Jewish ethnically. So, and how that works is my birth mother is a Jew. However, I did not grow up Jewish. I was adopted as a baby, and my dad is an evangelical preacher. But no, that is not true. Most evangelicals that support Israel tend to do it because it is the Holy Land. It is considered the Holy Land. It is a sacred place. They don't want it falling into somebody's control that, you know, would be a negative. You know, because imagine if Iran controlled Israel or some terrorist group or something like that. It'd be a nightmare, right? And you could, like, Christians would not be able to go over there and pilgrimage, go to Golgotha, go to Bethlehem, things along those lines. So it would be impossible. So that's a large part of it. There's also a lot of Christians who see Jewish people as like religious cousins. And admittedly, I'm kind of in that I'm in that boat. More than anything, really, because I've been around people of that religious background. I've had fun discussions with them. I've known a couple of rabbis in my life that even though I'm not Jewish religiously, have been willing to give me advice on life that was very helpful and shown kindness to me. So it's just one of those things where that's the element, and there's also the other element that I'm fully aware of the fact that if Iran got their way with what they want in the region, they would steamroll Israel and everybody in it, and they just kill everyone. It'd be another Holocaust. And I don't want to see that. I don't know if you could tell by my tone and candor when talking about Xeon, but I'm not big on war crimes. Or genocide or anything like that. Unless it's against the Eldar. That's a whole different thing. But that's the only politics we're going to talk today. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into a whole thing about Middle Eastern politics. It's a fucking minefield. And admittedly, I'm not that sensitive about it because I don't fucking live there. But I do have fans that do. Recently finished a Master Grade gun tank I found in a local model store. Very good. I really like the Master Grade gun tank. That was a lot of fun. That was a very fun build. It was complicated in certain areas, but finally getting the treads to work and everything, oh, it felt good. Religion is a personal, spiritual thing. Don't trust people. Well, of course not. I've been fucked over by many Christians in my life. But I've also met many Christians that are incredibly kind and wonderful people. I've also met many Muslim people that have been incredibly kind and wonderful people. Met Hindu people, same thing. Jews, same thing. It's a person-to-person thing. Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Everybody's a sinner.
Everybody screws up. Everybody has the same capacity for doing evil things. That is why it is good to endeavor to be as kind as humanly possible. Which personally is part of the reason why I am going to endeavor to do the same. Now, trust me, Sella, I get it. I get it. I've been there. We're going to give this a couple of coats. We want to make sure that we cover all of that green. We'll let that dry. Now, the one criticism that I have of splash paints is that the texture on them can be a little chalky. So after you paint them, sometimes you have to polish them to kind of get rid of that texture. That's layer one. What airbrush am I using? A Master something or other. I don't remember the name of the model name of it. I got it for cheap on Amazon. It's done me pretty well, but I'm getting to a point where I need something that supports several needle sizes. Instead of just like this big, wide-reaching brush, you know? So at some point in the next few months, I'm going to upgrade. The priority, though, is if streams continue to be as successful as the one has been today, in the summertime, this room gets stupid fucking hot. So, we will have to... I need to purchase an air conditioner specifically for this room, which is going to cost me a good few $100s. Which is money I don't really have at the moment, and I'm still paying artists for art, so I can't really afford it for another few months. Probably just at the time that summer starts getting really hot. Oh shit, wait, that's next month. Fuck. Well, I'm going to be broke for a while. Ah! Oh well. Not a big deal. Part of life. Yeah, what's the chat saying? How nice do I believe Jesus is? Beyond Mr. Rogers. Tavern style or deep dish Chicago? So are we talking, when we say flat crust, are we talking like a thin crust, almost like a cracker? Because I will take Chicago style over that every day of the week. I like my pizzas to have some volume to them. Which, funnily enough, like, I'll defend Chicago style until the day I die because I'm from the area. But my favorite pizza is actually just a hand-tossed crust. That I prefer to any. Also, one thing that I kind of find funny. Italians hate Chicago-style pizza. Like, actual Italians, not like American Italians. Actual Italians fucking hate it. They're like, that's not a pizza, that's a casserole. I'm like, why not both? Because the thing about Chicago-style pizza, you have to really like cheese. And I love cheese. So, it works for me. Because the thing about it is that Chicago-style sauces are sweeter. The Chicago-style tomato sauce will have a little sugar in it. And on top of that, when it goes on top of the pie, it has not been cooked yet. It gets cooked in the oven with the rest of the pizza. And whenever you cook a tomato sauce like that, it is a little sweeter than if you cook it once and then cook it again whenever the pizza is cooked. Which is how I prefer to do it, personally. I like my pizzas to be very savory. Because I make the marinara that I make for my pizzas is very traditional. All right. Still trying to figure out why Chicago makes a really good Detroit-style pizza? I'm going to be blunt. Here in Illinois,
We make every state's pizza better than the actual state that makes it. You want the best New York style pizza you're gonna get. You get it in Chicago. You don't get it in you don't get it in New York. I'm pretty sure the water that they're using for their dough is like filtered out from the Hudson River, which is fucking gross. Granted, I don't have the highest opinion of New Yorkers. But no, we make everybody else's pizza better than they do. Because pizza's a big deal here. We love pizza here in Illinois. Pizza and hot dogs, I would say, are probably... Well, no. Pizza, hot dogs, and Italian beef are probably our three best dishes that you're gonna get if you ever visit Illinois. But the thing is that the further south you get in Illinois, the worse it's gonna be. Honestly, like pizza in Southern Illinois, not really that great. I don't think I've ever had a pie down south that I really ever thought that was that good. Except for, there was a Monocle's down where I lived when I lived in, like, super Southern Illinois. This is like 20 years ago. That their barbecue chicken pizza was godlike. But that was it. That was the only good pizza in town. So yeah, good pizza was just not a thing down there. You gotta be in the northern part of the state for it. Are Illinois burgers good? Yeah, but I wouldn't say that, like, they're so distinctive from other places. We don't have, like, a special burger, right? There's not, like, an Illinois-style burger whatsoever. You know, like, that's not a thing. But, But yeah, there's, like, food here in general. We have a very meticulous food culture. And I'm getting up and I'm moving around for a bit. My ass has been glued to a seat all day. I need to stand up for a minute. I'm going to do that. Move my microphone real quick. But yeah, here in Illinois, like, we have a food culture that is very varied. Because a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's a lot of imports from Italy and from Poland here in Illinois. And a lot of that is kind of what influenced the food culture here. And that's why there's always going to be an option, any hot dog place you ever go to get a Polish sausage. Which, by the way, Polish sausage is so fucking good. It's so good. We can get a Polish sausage. You get a Polish sausage, you can get Ditka. Ditka's here. You know, Ditka. You know, duh, Bears. Duh, Bulls. Sorry. I slipped into Superfan for a moment. Do I have the real grade Wing Zero? No, I do not, because I don't build real grades. I have the master grade. But I do not have the real grade. My hands are too damn big for real grades. But yeah, we have that. But yeah, pizza here is a big deal. It always has been. And yeah, the Italian beef is our prime sandwich. We actually have a whatchamacallit. Getting the goddamn name. But we have an Italian beef place here in town that is really, really good. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name. Dusting off the top of my microphone real quick. Okay. I never get much done on these streams, admittedly. But yeah, big food culture here. So, a lot of places you go to, they're very meticulous. But what you're going to mostly get here, a lot of beef, a lot of pork, a lot of chicken. Those are the three big proteins. There's not much there's not really a seafood culture here because there's no ocean for us to get seafood from. Lobsters have to get imported from the coastline. I don't know of many places that usually they have to have a tank if you're going to get a fresh one. I don't even know if there is a restaurant here in town that does fresh lobster. There's some in Chicago, but they're like hoity-toity places. But yeah. But yeah, a lot of pasta too, because the Italians. Use some spiritual guidance. Have I sinned by buying the strike dagger off eBay because I liked how it looked like Optimus Prime? I will absolve you of your sins if you paint it like Optimus Prime. Then I'll give you the good old egote e absolvo. And yes, I actually do know some Catholic blessings. I actually have a copy of the Roman ritual somewhere, if I remember right. So if I needed to, I could perform an exorcism. I remember telling one of my girlfriends from the past that the reason I had a cross tattooed on my arm was if I ever fought a vampire, all I would have to do is choke it, because the blessing from the tattoo would go through my arm and kill it. But anyway, if there is one fish that here in Illinois is always good, is catfish. If there's a catfish fry here in Illinois, go to it. It will be godlike, because we're one of those states that gets the really fucking big flatheads. And those are good eats. Excuse me. Those are really good eats. Like, I love fried catfish. That's the shit. He did paint an RX-78 like Optimus. Very nice. But yeah, catfish down in southern Illinois. That's the sort of stuff you want to get in southern Illinois. Catfish, fried chicken, stuff along those lines. Because down south, you've got all the transplants from Missouri and from Tennessee. Well, now most of those transplants are starting to move back because it's so expensive to fucking live here. But down south, we have really good fried food. But up north, it's a little different. But I've lived in both spots, so I know the best of both worlds. I can fry a catfish with the best of them, and I can make a pasta with the best of them, and I can make a pizza with the best of them. I'm pretty proud of how good of a cook I am. I just wish I was dating someone I could impress with it. Speaking of Catholicism, how many symbols do I get from Evangelion and Evangelion? Oh, Evangelion Death and Evangelion, meaning how they use Christian symbolism. The funny thing about that, if I remember right, Anno said that he just used it because it sounded cool. Like, he wasn't actually trying to go too deep with it. If I ever did a breakdown of Evangelion, which I've considered doing, if I ever did it, it would be to explain what a lot of them are in the Bible. Just because I have a theological background, so it would make sense for me to do it. Wanted Gundam's equivalent to Wolfenstein New Order, not rejected Pokemon trainers riding Bayverse robots and new type no jutsuing their way out of fights. I'm in the same boat, dude. I'm in the same boat. That's actually something to talk about for a minute. Like, I've always been a fan of, like, the reason I get into Gundam, I've explained this to some people, because people will be surprised that I don't know a whole lot about, like, Transformers. I know a little bit about G1. I know the Transformers that I watched the most was the one that was on Toonami in the 90s, or in the early 2000s. Not Toonami, I'm sorry, it wasn't on Toonami. But it was on this cartoon block for an hour with the Masters of the Universe reboot from the early 2000s. I think it might have been Energon is what it was called. I don't remember. That's the one I watched a lot, but I don't remember much of it. But I was more of a He-Man guy. I loved that He-Man show. It was peak. Armada, thank you. That's the one I'm familiar with. But what got me into Gundam was the fact it's a war story, not because of the robots. I love robots, don't get me wrong. Giant robots are fucking cool. But I really like war stories. You know, I grew up, my dad was in the military. My dad was an Army sergeant. You know, I have a lot of friends that fought in the War on Terror. In fact, most of my friend group, except for me and two other guys, fought in that war. Like every other friend that I had during high school that was in that age group. Except for, there were only 3 of us that stayed behind. Everybody else fought in the war. And to be honest, the reason that the 3 of us stayed behind, I was going to college. The other 2, love them as much as I do, too fat to fight. we were some chubby dudes. Still are, but yeah. Now all 3 of us are chubby and bald. It's just, we've hit our 40s. It just happens. I just say I've got a little bit more hair than my other 2 friends do. Just a smidge. Not that it looks good. I really need to start just shaving it, honestly. I think I'm at that point. But anyway, but yeah, that's the reason I got into it. Like, I'm not really like, if there's a good real robot show, I'm in. You know? I love Evangelion. Well, Evangelion's a super robot, but it's presented like a real robot show. But I really like Vodums. I remember really liking Macross the first time I watched it, but I haven't watched it in so long. You know, but like a lot of the anime that I was really into were seinens, you know. I think I'm just gonna yap for the rest of the stream if you guys are alright. Let's get really sticky. Endless Waltz Heavy Arms update. I will do it at some point. Admittedly, whenever I do these streams, it is just going to be so I have something to do while I'm yapping. I will probably do most of these kits off stream. God, my head's so goddamn big. That, and I also promised JP fans that I would do live streams to show off the kits when I get them in. Speaking of which, so I will probably finish the rest of this Jegan sometime this week. I'm going to go ahead and close that door. So, but I need to clean up my office this weekend. But yeah. Eternal Dive wants to know, have I ever thought about doing Gunsword? Yes! I fucking love Gunsword. Gunsword is really good. That one is very goofy. It's very Goro Taniguchi, you know? For those who don't know, Goro Taniguchi is the guy, he's the guy who directed Gunsword. He also directed Code Geass. And he's fucking nuts, but in a fun way. I love his stuff. So everybody tells me I need to watch Planetes. But yeah, Gunsword is awesome. You know what else is awesome? I have this up here. I think I've showed these off, but I'm also a big Ghost in the Shell fan. So sadly, the DVD for this got sent to be or the Blu-ray for this got sent to be damaged. That pisses me off, but it is used, so it's to be expected. I'm gonna tape that real quick. But yeah, I'm big on military fiction. So, did I see they're doing a new Ghost in the Shell? Oh yeah, Donger. Dude, like, I'm so stoked. because it's going to be based more on the manga. I don't think people are ready for it, in my opinion, because it's going to hit people kind of like Devilman did, where they've been hearing about this story forever, but when they actually see it, they're going to be like, what the fuck? The people who clutch their pearls on Twitter are going to hate it, because they're not ready for horny bisexual Motoko Kusanagi. Even though in every series she's in, she's presented as bisexual, you know. But like in the original manga, she has an orgy with a bunch of women, you know, like, and they're recording it to sell it on the internet. Like, she's basically filming a porno. So like, she's very sexual in the source material. They're not ready for that. I don't think a lot of people are. Because basically, like, in the original manga, Kusanagi is a horny girl failure. But most Ghost in the Shell stuff is good. I am more of a standalone complex guy. This peak. This and Black Lagoon are like two series that, if you really enjoy cop stories and crime stories, if you have not watched these, there's something wrong with you. Like those, like when I think of the anime that I think that you should watch, again, if you haven't watched them, you're missing something. The original Gundam, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, Black Lagoon, Evangelion, the ADV dub, if you need it dubbed. If not, just watch it in Japanese. I already said Black Lagoon, Cowboy Bebop. I would say those are like the big five that you should watch. If you haven't watched those five, you're missing out. And if I had to add a number 6, I would say Berserk 97. Because a lot of, like, those are the ones that I would say show the potential of the medium and what can be done with it. Have I ever seen Legend of the Galactic Heroes? I saw the remake, and it was very good. I want to watch the original. But the problem is, the original is like 100 some odd episodes. And I don't think you can get physical copies of it. So I'm going to have to find somewhere to pirate it. And I'm going to feel really bad when I do. But from what I understand, it's super long. So I would have to plan out like months of content that's really short form to really do it. Not short form like shorts, but like 10 minutes tops. You can get physicals of LOGH, but it's mad expensive. That sucks. Because, yeah, that and Macross are two that I would love to do videos on. One that I'm definitely doing, I'm going to just spoil it. The Halloween episode for this year is going to be Getter Armageddon. Because I've never reviewed Getter Armageddon, and it's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. 4 seasons on Blu-ray, $3,000. Jesus fuck. That's insane. And I'm guessing you probably have to import it from Japan. It's probably part of the reasons to why it's so expensive. They probably did one issue of it, and then they haven't reissued it since the remake got made. That's what I would probably think. No English subtitles? Oh, that fucking sucks. So yeah, now the one thing is, I think the Internet Archive has it. So what I might do is, that's not something I want to watch here in the office. I would probably grab my laptop, hook it into my big TV in the other room, and just enjoy it in my living room, probably during the winter, when it's nice and cool in there. Because once I get the AC unit, I get paid next week. Once I get the AC unit, I will probably, I'll put it in here, and then, actually, you know what? I've been mulling around the idea of honestly getting a more comfortable chair in here to lounge in and getting a different desk instead of the L-shaped one. So that way I could like kick my feet up and watch stuff in here. But I you know, I don't want to live in my office. That's the one thing I worry about. What about Full Metal Panic? With that one, I have something special planned. I know somebody who knows Vic Mignogna, and Vic was a voice actor on that show. He was Kurtz. He was Kurz. Or no, I'm sorry, not Kurz, Kurtz. He was the sniper. So I might see if I can get in touch with him and do an interview to discuss that particular role. That's my favorite role of his. I know everybody loves Edward Elric, and I do too. I really like FMA. FMA Brotherhood is a really fun anime. Do I remember Vandred? The name sounds familiar. I think I've looked into it before. Let me pull it up. Pull it up, Jamie. Directed by Mori. I feel like I've seen some stuff from this before, but I don't think I watched the whole thing. I'm guessing there's a lot of ecchi elements by judging by all of the big-titted women that are a part of it. Oh, somebody mentioned Hellsing Ultimate 7. That's another anime I think that you need to watch. Because Hellsing Ultimate is like, Jesus fuck, it's so good. And I know that I would be remiss if I... It's Trigun 8. Monster 9. And then if we had to round out the list... Something that really shows off the medium. Akira. Yeah. Akira would be number 10. Akira did so much for the medium when it came out. Like, it's part of, like, what showed really the world what anime could do. Didn't the creator of Hellsing make an isekai called Drifters? Yes, he did, and it's fucking cracked. In a good way. It's insane, because Kota Hirano's a fucking madman. But I mentioned this earlier, he's one of those artistic madmen. In the sense where he's crazy because he wants to tell crazy stories. But, you know, that's kind of like the extent of his insanity. But yeah, sadly, the rest of Drifters did not get animated. I'm really bummed out about that. I was hoping Madhouse was going to keep on that one. Because, like, the idea of, a Jesus Christ that's gone insane as the bad guy is fucking wild. We were gonna get a fantasy war between Jesus Christ and Nobunaga. It turned into Porky Pig there for a second. Vampire Hunter T, you know, yeah, that's another one. God. Bloodlust is so good. It's zombie time. Vandred had some questionable moments. Well, I saw the cast. I'm like, at least one of these girls is getting completely stark naked during the course of this. I'm like, it's gonna happen. Have I ever heard of Cyborg 009? Yes. And I remember nothing about it. I watched it a little bit on Toonami. It never really grabbed me. It was just one of those that never really stuck with me. Not saying it's bad. It's just like, it just didn't grab me. It's one of those things like, you could throw Wonder Woman comics at me. And it's nothing against the character of Diana. I've never been able to get into Wonder Woman solo books, ever. It just has never happened. You know? I can read Superman all day. I can read Batman all day. Wonder Woman never really vibed with me. You know? And then, like, over at Marvel, trying to think. Who's a character that you could throw as many comics as you wanted, but I could never really read them. Why am I forgetting? X-Force. Could never get into X-Force. Like the Rob Liefeld stuff, I could never really get into it. I know so many people that like loved that book, but I never really could get into it. And then there were others like, I didn't get into Green Lantern until the 2000s when Ethan and Jeff Johns did Rebirth. Then I started reading like some Hal Jordan stuff from back in the day. I'm like, dude, Hal Jordan's fucking awesome. Kyle Rayner sucks. Fuck Kyle Rayner, man. DC's very inconsistent with Diana. She's either amazing or she's retired cave woman spouting bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like, trying to think. Stuff over at Marvel I couldn't really get into. Yeah, X-Force was one of them. Never really saw the point. Young Avengers, I didn't really think was that great. I never understood what everybody saw in it. If it makes you feel better, Kyle Rayner lost against Simon in Death Battle. Wait, he lost to fucking Gurren Lagann shit? Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Personally didn't get the appeal of Black Panther. Well, and yeah, with the thing about Black Panther, I like Panther a lot, but a lot of it is because of the Christopher Priest run. And, like, I think of a lot of the Panther runs, like, the Priest run is amazing. It's one of the greatest comic books ever. After he did it, he worked on it. Reginald Hudlin did it. And Hoodlin's first run on the book was terrible. Fucking terrible. And nothing against Reginald Hudlin. Like, there's nothing, like, I don't have a personal problem with the guy. It just wasn't well done. But his second run on the book, where he introduced Shiuri, that run, it's a short run. I think it's only 12 issues, but that one was good. That one was a good read. He did a lot better with that one. Funnily enough, with Reginald Hudlin, he was a pretty good Spider-Man writer, because he wrote the second half of Marvel Knights Spider-Man, and I thought that his run on it was a lot better than Mark Miller's. And I like Mark Millar as a writer, but the thing about Mark Millar and the rest of what I would call like um the British wave of writers that came out, like Mark and Warren Ellis and um Grant Morrison, why am I forgetting his name? Garth Ennis, who are, like, granted, they're not all British, because Garth Ennis is Irish, but guys from that area, that wave of dudes, the thing that I would criticize them for is that some of their writing would get very cynical. And would be specifically cynical about the 90s as an era. And Mark Millar clearly hated 90s Spider-Man. He wanted a return to, like, all of the shit from the 80s and the 70s, because that's what he grew up with. So he wanted to get rid of Venom, that was the time when they killed off Eddie Brock, which was one of the dumbest decisions that has ever been made in Marvel editorial, killing off, quite literally, one of the most popular characters in Marvel history. So those first 12 issues were a fucking disaster. I fucking hated the first half of Marvel Knight Spider-Man. The second half was way better, and that was written by Reginald Hudlin. Less it could be said about Trouble, the better, because what even was that comic? Mark Millar is one of those where I respect him quite a bit as a writer, because he's accomplished a lot. I don't like most of his work. I like some things by him, but not very many. Like, I didn't like Nemesis. I thought that was just kind of overly edgy. But I liked the Ultimates. I thought the Ultimates was really, really well done. So it just depends on the run with him. Same thing with Grant Morrison, because him and Grant Morrison are good friends. They're both Scottish. Grant Morrison did my favorite X-Men run, which is New X-Men. That run is phenomenal. Really want to read The Spectre, but it's hard to find. Yes, it is. Very hard to find. But yeah, but yeah, some of those guys can be very cynical. Warren Ellis is my favorite comic book writer of all time. He is the one that I will freely admit I have modeled my writing style after. He is like my biggest influence as a writer. And Warren could be very cynical at times too. Very, very cynical. If you ever get the chance to read his Hero trilogy, it is extremely cynical about the state of superheroes at the time. It's really, really good, though. It is a trilogy that they're not tied to one another, but they are commentaries on superhero tropes, basically. They're deconstructions, but they're really good deconstructions because they're trying to tell an interesting story with it. Because these came out around the time that, Kick-Ass came out, which was also deconstruction. Came out around the same time that The Boys did, which is also a deconstruction. But the trilogy goes Black Summer, No Hero, and Super God. Those three comics, read them. They are amazing. Amazing works. They are some of the best deconstructions I've ever read in my life. Because they're not trying to say comic books suck or superheroes are stupid. Because Warren Ellis made his name writing superheroes. Like, people forget, he wrote Excalibur. You know, like Warren Ellis was a really good X-Men writer. Like everybody talks about like Transmet with Warren Ellis. It's like, no, that wasn't like Transmet was a good book, but it wasn't like how he made his name and how he, you know, earned his keep initially. He was a superhero writer. Like the one things that I say are like my biggest influences from him are Stormwatch and the Authority, especially the Authority. Like that's Lazarus's biggest influence is Stormwatch and the Authority. Like I pull a lot from that in as my influences. Did you know Grant Morrison did a comic series about Santa Claus the Viking? That sounds like a very Grant Morrison thing to do. Do you have any optimism for Avengers Doomsday? It could be good. I mean, they've got the right elements for it. You know? I have a feeling the script that got leaked, like the outline for it, is probably about 75% true. And if it is 75% true, that is going to be a good movie. Hey, Tank Lover, what's up, dude? Heard Punisher Last Kill is good. I'm going to watch it after we're done today. I'm going to eat dinner and enjoy it. I made homemade mac and cheese, and I want more of that. Let's see here. Not a fan of Warren Ellis's work on Castlevania, but the work on Dead Space is good. What did Warren do for Dead Space? Oh, that's right! He wrote the prequel comic, didn't he? Yes. Warren does really good horror. He's very good at it. The motion comic for Dead Space 1 is a must-watch. It's so fucking good. So fucking good. Dude, they released that for free on the Xbox Live back in the day. For free. And I was like watching it weekly. I was like, holy shit. That's what sold me on it. The original Dead Space, man, and I mean the original, is one of my favorite horror games fucking ever. So fucking good. I like it more than 2. But yeah. But not a fan of his work on Castlevania. Here's the thing about Warren's work on Castlevania. His influence on that story was almost nothing in seasons 3 and 4, which is why the tone got really weird, and you got a lot of moments of what I call stripping the wizard. And it's an Adi Shankar thing. He loves doing this. Adi Shankar hates the idea of anything being mystical ever. He feels like it has to be explained. Anytime that Adi Shankar has a lot of control over a project, and it's about something that deals with the supernatural, there will be a scene where he tries to scientifically explain it. And to basically remove all the mystery from it. Like saying that, oh, fast-moving objects in front of a vampire's eyes hurt them. As opposed to the simple fact that the reason that the vampire killer kills vampires is because it's fucking consecrated! You literally said that 2 seasons ago! That's an Adi Shankar thing. Like, if you look back at Castlevania, think of it this way. Warren Ellis was producing the first 2 seasons of that Adi Shankar was the guy bringing in the money. Seasons 3 and 4, Warren Ellis had gotten canceled because supposedly he was fucking mean to some chick. And then after that, Adi Shankar took over the majority of the creative on that show using Warren's notes and his original script. But he was in control at that point, and that's why there was such a downturn. That's why season 1 and 2 are so fucking good. Seasons 3 and 4 are nowhere near as good. I don't think they're bad necessarily, but they're not up to par. I really liked the ending of season 3. I liked the bittersweet nature of it. But season 4 was the weakest one. And it's just, again, stripping the wizard. You know? Ronan, I do not hold anything against you, buddy. I don't hold anything against anybody who can't donate or become a channel member or whatever. I'm not that guy. I'm not the $5. You don't have $5. I'm not that person. I get it. It's life. Not everybody can spend money on everything. You know? How much of Hector's bastardization was Shankar's idea and Ellis's idea? I actually genuinely liked Curse of Darkness, so that thing kind of stung for me. I think that a big part of it, like my problem with it when it comes to Hector, him getting manipulated the way that he did made sense to me, because he was kind of a lonely person. And he was being offered the hand of a beautiful woman. And I will tell you this right now. The hand of a beautiful woman, when you're lonely, is as wonderful to someone as eating a steak when you're starving. Or a glass of water when you're dehydrated. It is mind-numbingly. It's the one thing you want more than anything else in the world. So, using that to manipulate him, I thought that made a lot of sense. And the problem that I had with the vampire girls was the payoff of when they were beaten didn't really hit. I am of the opinion that all of them, except for the one that Hector was banging, should have been brutally killed. But it didn't happen. It was just Carmilla. And it's like, dude, it was just very unsatisfying. And it also didn't help that Carmilla was just... She wasn't a vile character. She wasn't like, I really want her to die. You know? Like, she was just annoying. And it's like... And again, that's an Adi Shankar thing. Adi Shankar is terrible with villains. He really is. Because he never knows how to do it. You know, he's never written anything. I need to do a full video on Castlevania at some point. What are my overall thoughts on it? First 2 seasons are godlike. Third and fourth seasons are not that great. It's all very well voice acted because it had a great cast. But it is what it is. Sometimes the best support we can give is continue to view the content. Yeah, exactly. One thing that I will actually add that really helps, whenever you see a new video get uploaded, if you're on mobile, there's a hype button. If you hit that, it actually helps improve the reach of the video. Part of the reason that the Wing Zero video did really well is a ton of people hit the hype button when that one came out, and it was huge, you know. Beauty Scribe with Carmilla is that line alluding to the boys in her room and the layers to unpack from it. Given her namesake, they fucked up the one job they have. Yeah, pretty much. I would agree with that. Banger video, by the way. Thank you. Think I only hype your stuff in another channel I watch for BattleTech? I've been starting to listen to BattleTech lore. It's still not grabbing me. I'm so sorry, guys. I know a lot of you really like BattleTech and really want me to get into it, but it's just not. It's not clicking yet. I will say this though. A fellow Illinois guy, Pancreas No Work. I like some of his videos because he's kind of like, he and I have a similarity where, and this is an Illinois thing, if you've lived here in Illinois, especially Northern Illinois, your first language is not English. Your first language is sarcasm. Well, I appreciate that he speaks my language. But no, he did a video, he did a guest appearance on what is it? Acceptable Losses. And which is a podcast I've been listening to. It's Kirioth and Dewey Diamante from Adeptus Ridiculous, where they talk about other grim universes. Which is also a really good podcast. But he's been doing some episodes with them, and he did one on the Black Marauder and other supernatural stuff in BattleTech. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, that's really cool. Like some of the stuff that was in that, I'm like, oh, okay. Now you're catching me. You mean Chicagoland is the only part of Northern Illinois people care about? Very true. But yeah, he's from around that area. How goes the research for shark clones and other media? We're going to do that for a, well, actually, no, there's going to be 2 shark clone videos. There's going to be one for in other media, and then there's going to be one for, on the podcast, that is just the history of all of them and how many there are. Tex Talks BattleTech is very well produced. That was one that Shirt Dude and I got a lot of inspiration for with how to do our videos. But yeah. You know, one thing I just realized I didn't answer completely was the thing about a mecha book. The thing about a mecha book, like where I'm at with it, like with if you think of the books I've written so far, Inglewood, Three Nights, all this stuff, like they already have like the concept work and stuff like that done. Now it's just about scripting them. With Lazarus, or not Lazarus, with the mecha book I'm wanting to do, we need to concept out every single mech. And then from there, concept out the characters, which there's a lot of them. That book's not going to be done for a couple of years, to be honest with you. It's going to take some time. Favorite Pancreas No Work vid? I really liked the one he did about Gilliman. Because he made a very good argument for why Gilliman is the best Primarch. Because he didn't take it from best fighter, he took it from leading a military. And in all truthfulness, in 40k, when it comes to leading a military, of the Loyalist Primarchs, there's only one that I would say is on his level, and it's Dorn. Honestly. Dorn is the only other one. Like, Corvus, well, actually, I would say Corvus. Dorn and Corvus. Because Vulcan is, not the best general. He is the best with people. He's the most personable Primarch. He's the best builder in regards to weaponry. But, not the best general. Jagatai is a good general, but he is prone to abandoning military tactics to just do what he feels. But granted, he is a very morally righteous person, in, at least by 40k standards. So it's not like he's ever going to do something wrong. He's just not going to do what you tell him to do all the time. Because he is the master of his own fate. And you kind of have to respect that about the guy. I know I do. I love Jagatai. But, yeah, the only guys that are, like, on Gilliman's level in regards to that would be Corvus and Dorn. And with Dorn, I would say, as a strategist, he's as good as Rabute is. But when it comes to organizing a full-on military, like figuring out the logistics of how to make it work, and getting everyone on the same page, he's not as good as Rabute is. Battle-to-battle strategy, you could argue that Corvus is just as good. But in a longer war, the two were matched up against each other in simulation programs, and Corvus did beat Gilliman a few times, but Gilliman adapted to the tactics and always won the longer war. So, you might lose a couple battles if you're Gilliman, but you're going to win the long one because he's learning every time. So, as a military commander, yeah, Gilliman is the man. And to be honest with you, it's starting to look like he should have been War Master instead of Horus. Honestly. He would have been the better pick for it. That's just my thoughts. My thing is this, Steven. I definitely want... I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that one of the Lost Legions should have been Psychers, for sure, or very psychically gifted. And then another one... My whole thing is this. I want... If they ever do... books about the Lost Primarchs, if they ever decide to flesh that out, they need to flesh out the Rongdan Xenocides. And I have some ideas about how to do it, but the way that I would do it specifically is that put the Rongda in a similar position to the Lair, where they are chaos-influenced Xenos. And the whole thing leaves more questions than answers, and it would explain why the Primarchs got mind wiped. And I would basically have it be that one of them is killed by the lion, and then the other one is killed by Russ. Because they continuously call Russ the Emperor's executioner. But who did he kill? That was that important. So. But I think that would be where you do it. I would love to see it. I wouldn't be against it. The Dark Elder are not Chaos Worshippers, actually. To answer your other question, though, Leo, do you think all the Primarchs represent the best and worst of humanity? I think they represent the best and worst of the Emperor. I think they're reflections of him. I think it's not likely that there was merely chaos worship. I am of the opinion, like, I'll just say how I would write it. The Rongda are hinted at being almost like a worm-like species. Now, here's the question. How many of you know about hunters from Halo? Because I'm going to fill you in if you don't. Hunters from Halo are actually just colonies of worms. And I thought, like, why not have a species like that? But they have the ability to take over bodies, take people over, and bring them into their hive mind. And the idea being that the Lost Legions were infected by the Rongda. And because the Rongda know chaos, and they understand chaos, they were able to open up the minds of these two Primarchs and to give them knowledge that they did not have, that these Primarchs did not have before. And basically those two were the first two traitors. Because one of the few things that I could think of that, because the only thing that Dorn ever says about them that he can actually remember is they committed a sin that was so great they had to be destroyed. Well, during the Crusade, what would be the one great sin that would cause you to be destroyed? Allying with Xenos. Specifically those that were enslaving humanity. Because that was the whole point of the Great Crusade and the Long Night. Was to bring the Long Night to an end. To destroy the slavers who had enslaved humanity in all these different planets. So that's what I would do, is I would have the Rongda be basically like a hive mind worm species that, you know, managed to get their hooks into two of the Primarchs. And the two Primarchs basically were too far gone. Like, how I would basically do it is, like, one of the two Primarchs I would have be one thing we don't have is we don't have another Primarch that's kind of a parallel to Lorgar, I've noticed. One who's like a pious person. I would do something like that with one of them. But have him be a little bit more war-focused. And hey there, Mana, what's going on? And we're talking about Primarchs, Tim. But I would have him be kind of a more pious individual. And he, at this point, with the Rongda, starts spouting off about gods and this, that, and the other. Because they have knowledge of chaos. And he is infected to the point where he's too far gone. And the lion kills him in single combat. The other one, on the other hand, because he is a psyker, I would have it to where the Rongda can't take over his mind. But rather, thank you for the hundreds. but rather instead of being taken over by the Rangda, he's able to commune with them. And the communication that takes place between the two opens up his idea of the universe to where he now knows everything. He knows the scope of it. He knows the war in heaven. He knows that the threat of the Necrons is out there. He knows that the Tyranids are coming. He knows that that chaos exists. Like, he knows all of it. He basically knows what the 41st millennium. Did you see your idea of what the Emperor's plan might be? I don't think I did. But back to what I was saying. But he understands everything now. And the knowledge of what the 41st millennium is, and the understanding that he now has of chaos, of Tzeentch, of Slaanesh, of Khorne, and of Nurgle, the horrors of that century, he realizes that the Great Crusade is pointless. That there is never going to be an end to the war. That this war they are in right now is the start of one that is going to be waged forever. He basically learns, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And that feeling makes him no longer want to fight it. So he just gives up and lets Leetman kill him. And then after the war is over, Space Wolves, well, all the Primarchs get their minds wiped, and all the ones that were involved in that war, which was primarily the Space Wolves, the Dark Angels, the Ultramarines, and I think the Blood Angels, were all involved in that one. I think, and maybe the Luna Wolves, I don't remember. But basically the idea of... My whole thing is this. I am of the opinion that some people kind of lose sight of just how horrible 40K really is. And sometimes I really think you got to sell them on it, and I think that would work it. I think that would work really well. Just like, this guy is just like, I've seen everything. I've seen our futures. Mine ends here because I am not going to wage an eternal war, and I refuse to put my sons through it. I will not do it. Just take me, kill me, please. Get this over with. Steven says, I think it would be that he planned to weaken the Chaos Gods enough to kill the Gods' forms in the warp, take their aspects, their essences, split them among the Primarchs. I don't agree with the second part. I definitely agree with the first. That's actually a big part of why he... Here's the thing about the Emperor. He's a fucking hypocrite. On so many levels. So many goddamn levels. The thing about the Emperor is that he knew the whole time that the Chaos Gods were out there. He knew there were deities in other places. It's hinted that he's the one who split the Void Dragon. Which, given how powerfully he is, I could see it. So, he knew about the Catan. He probably knew about the whole war in heaven. He knew about chaos. He knew about the fall of the Eldar. He knew about all of it. And he didn't tell a fucking soul. Except Corvus. Which, by the way, we're going to be doing a Masters of Lore on the Raven Guard, and that will be something that I mention. Is that Corvus was the only one who knew about chaos. The rest of them had no fucking clue. Ever get into the tabletop part of 40K? Hell yeah. I want to paint an army, but I don't have the money right now. But I'll show you my army list here in a second. I'll bring it up. But, wrong thing. But regardless, like I feel like his strategy was to starve the Chaos Gods by basically spreading atheism. But it just didn't work. Because he knew it was bullshit. And you can only keep up a lie like that for so long. By the way, Servant, to answer your question from earlier, I didn't forget it. Favorite season of Babylon 5 is probably 3. My favorite episode specifically being the one where Ambassador Malari basically kills the Emperor and then has Mr. Morden killed, and he starts like telling the oh hey, Black Pants Legion's here. Yeah, dude, like the Text Talks BattleTech stuff was a big inspiration for my Gundam content. I'm not really big into BattleTech. I played Mech Warrior 2 when I was young and shit like that. But yeah, I'm trying to, like, these guys have been trying to get me into it so hard. And it hasn't clicked for me yet. Because I like war stories and things along those lines. So we'll see what happens in the future. But thank you for stopping by, Tex. I appreciate it, buddy. Carnage Rage 93 throws in $5. Says, ever thought about doing a review on Eureka 7? Yes, I do want to do that at some point. Have I ever played any CRPGs? What's my favorite? Planescape Torment. Amazing video game. And I like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, that season of Babylon 5 is great. And I think that, is it season 2 or season 3 where they do the green and purple thing with the Drazi? Not for everyone, but thank you all the same. You are very welcome, dude. Keep up the hard work. But anyway, my Raven Guard list. And I plan on building and painting all of these at some point during the course of the next couple of years. Or the next year or so. So from the top, you know what? Actually, there's a better way for me to do this. Hold on. I'm going to just bring up Tabletop Simulator. Do want to play the original Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, but I have played Arcanum and Classic Co-op. The original Baldur's Gate is very good. It's kind of jank, but most CRPGs are from that era. Let me open up Force Orange. Oh my god, I'm getting tired. Yeah, I need to play through Arcanum at some point, though. After I show off this list, I'm probably going to head to bed. But yeah, I play, mostly play tabletop through, or just solely play tabletop through Tabletop Sim. Thoughts on the Alpha Legion? I think they're good antagonists. So here's my list. We have Haven Shrike with a group of Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We have a Raven Guard Captain with a jump pack with another set of Intercessors. We have a Chaplain with jump pack with Vanguard Veterans. I'm really looking forward to painting the new Chaplain, by the way. I can't wait for those to come out. I'm going to snag one. We have 2 squads of Incursors with Librarians and Phobos armor. And then 1 squad of infiltrators. We have 2 squads of assault intercessors. The sergeant will usually have a power fist or a thunder hammer, depending on, you know, usually a power fist. Power fist is really the better weapon, in my opinion. It's a strength 8 weapon. Like that's really really good. Then we have 2 squads of reavers, 2 squads of eliminators. Then you have Ethan Sean, who's the warlord. Him and Caven. Then I have 2 Invictor tactical war suits and a repulsor. I have watched some Doctor Who. It's alright. The season where what's his name? I forget. When they did the revival, I forget the name of the guy, the actor. Christopher Eccleston, I think is his name. That season's really good. He's intense as the Doctor. Now, here's the gimmick with this list. This is the Shadow Mark Talon detachment. And these can be really fucking tricky. So the thing about Shadow Mark Talon, the first thing is that if anyone is trying to shoot at you from more than 12 inches away, they take -1 to hit, which is good. That's sort of the default Raven Guard thing. However, Ethan Sean, if he's in the army, gives you an ability called Unparalleled Tactician. Once per battle round, as long as he's on the battlefield, you can use the Into Darkness stratagem for 0 command points. So what is Into Darkness, you might ask? Into Darkness means you can take 1 standard unit, like the Assault Intercessors, or the tank, and take them off the battle and put them into strategic reserves. Or 2 Phobos units. So you could take, for example, both of the Incursors off the board. Or take the Infiltrators and the Reavers off. Or the Snipers. Or 2 Invictor tactical war suits. These are considered Phobos units. Right there. There's the keyword. Phobos. Not only that, you also have the option of doing it more than once. Once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it when its unit is targeted with a stratagem. If it does, you reduce the cost of the stratagem by 1 CP. Depending on the rules you're playing with, if they let you do the same stratagem multiple times in a round, you can quite literally, at the end of every round, pull 2 Phobos units off the board. Ethan Sean can pull himself off the board. He doesn't need Into Darkness to do it. And then you can use it on your Captain with Jump Pack as well. You can pull basically 4 units off of the board. So basically what you can do is you can have units that deep strike, come in, attack, and then leave if they kill everything. And then reposition. And with this unit, I can do it with most of the army. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my squads are Phobos wearing, plus my Invictors. And on top of that, my Reavers have grav shoots, meaning they can deep strike. And on top of that, another thing that makes this list really good is that in cursors, they debuff you. If they hit you with ranged fire, you take -1 to hit. And you already have -1 to hit. And because I have librarians here, they give the whole group lone operative, meaning that you can't shoot them unless you're within 12 inches. So these guys are a fucking nightmare to play against. Like, people have been wiping tournaments because they could just uppy downy everybody. Like, you never know where you're going to get hit from. Not to mention the Raven Guard just looks so fucking cool, man. Look at that fucking mini. His bird feet. So cool. Funnily enough, Caven used to have bird feet on his old armor. He actually, like, him and Corsaro Khan killed a demon prince when Caven, like, kicked over a statue of the Emperor on top of him, and then Khan just cut his fucking head off. It was great. Love the Raven Guard. But yes, I am ready for bed. I'm ready to lay down and just eat something and then eventually fall asleep. But I do want to thank everybody for coming by and hanging out. This is a fun stream. I don't know when we'll do another. I want to do one next week. But I will say this. People keep renewing memberships and super chatting. I will do more of them if people want. So, yeah. I appreciate all you guys for coming by. I don't think Lolly is live, so I don't have anybody to redirect you to. There's nobody else I know streaming right now. I don't think. Let me check. FFS isn't streaming? I wonder what, I wonder what Cynic and the guys are up to. Anyway, you guys have yourselves a great night. I will catch you next time. Keep an eye out. We'll paint some more stuff. See you later. And like it says, go do something productive. Or go to bed like me. You can always do that if you're old.